Back to those oil prices now. Let's get more on this. Neil Atkinson is the Director of Energy Research and Analysis at Data Monitor. And I'm pleased to say he is here in the Gherkin to tell us exactly what's going on. And Neil, I mean, you know, $111 2 weeks ago. Now we're looking at just over $100. Is this all about supply and demand when it comes to the oil price, and is it set to remain this way?
Well, the fundamentals are the driving force here, and you were talking a moment ago about the Chinese economy. Well, China alone is responsible for about 40% of global oil demand growth these days, and any slowdown in China will mean a slower rate of demand growth for oil. Meanwhile, demand growth here in Europe is negligible, if not actually zero, because of the ongoing economic problems here in Europe. The United States economic performance is better than Europe, but it seems to be an oil demand growth-free recovery in the US because of better efficiency. Japan's in a bad state. So essentially, China and India and other developing countries are the main driving force behind oil demand growth. If they slow down, that's bad news. On the other side of the balance, you've got lots of supply. There's loads of shale oil in the United States. There's loads of oil being produced pretty well everywhere else. So fundamentally, it's weaker demand. More supply means lower prices. We're finding that there is way more there than we thought, and it's easier to bring it to the market than we thought. Meanwhile, oil demand growth itself is much weaker than we thought it was going to be. The United States saw its oil demand peak in 2006, and it's not even returned to anywhere close to that level. So there are some fundamental shifts going on in the last few years affecting our basic perception of where oil prices are heading. It's impossible to say where the bottom will be because it's a very imprecise science. But I think there are still a few more dollars of downside yet to the crude oil price. Meanwhile, waiting in the wings, we're now sitting here on the 15th of April. In just over 5 weeks' time, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries meets for its six-monthly meeting, OPEC, in Vienna. And they are not going to sit idly by if the crude oil price is cratering between now and then. So expect something to happen on the supply side from the OPEC countries if the oil price comes under sustained downward pressure.